All right, trainees, at this point I'm going to show you what marching at other than attention is going to look like. For this first whole impression, I want you to understand that I represent everybody in the flight without exception, and I'll set the standard for performance that you'll need to emulate. Trainees, for this first whole demonstration, I want you to pay attention to the lower half of my body, particularly my feet and what they do. Trainees, I'm going to go ahead and do this for you one more time, this time from a frontal view. I want you to pay attention. I just performed an individual change step to make sure that I got back in proper step. You may have to do that later. It'll make sense a little bit later in the lesson. When I do this for you this time, again, it'll be a frontal view. I again represent everybody in the flight without exception to set the standard performance that you'll need to emulate. Trainees, for this iteration, I want you to pay attention to the upper half of my body, particularly my hands and what they do. Knees, hug, eye, touch, hut, top, rip, up, hut, top, rip, up. Trainees, now that I went ahead and demonstrated what these drill movements are going to look like, I talked to you earlier about 4 requirements that we need to have whenever we're performing these drill movements. The first requirement being is that we need to be marching at attention. Stand by. The second requirement being is we can do this in any of the 4 formations we may find ourselves in. The third requirement being is it can be performed in either close or normal interval. And finally, the last requirement being is it must be performed at the cadence of quick time. Once we have those 4 requirements, we can perform these drill movements whenever needed. I also talked to you about in my introduction how I would break down this drill movement for you, trainees, step by step, so that every one of you can understand how to properly do it. That's what I'll do for you right now. Trainees, the first set of commands that you will receive is at ease and march. You need to understand that the commands of at ease, march, and flight attention can be given on either foot, so long and provided that they are given on the same foot. Trainees, when you receive the preparatory command of at ease, you'll meant to prepare yourself to continue to march. When you receive the command of execution, march, all trainees in the flight will take one more 24-inch step and begin walking naturally and relaxed. At this point, trainees, you must maintain your dress, cover, interval, distance, and silence. Guidon bearer, you will continue to carry the guidon in the carry position. However, you may use either hand to do this. Trainees, you will continue marching in this manner until given your next set of commands. Also, the only commands that you can receive while marching at ease is guide to the left, guide to the right, or flight attention. Now, you'll continue marching just like that, just like I showed you, until you receive your next set of commands, which will be flight attention, with flight being your preparatory or thinking command, and attention being your command of execution or go command. Trainees, when you receive the preparatory command of flight, you'll meant to prepare yourself to continue to walk. When you receive the command of execution, attention, you will resume marching at attention, adhering to cadence as necessary, and performing an individual change step if necessary. You will reestablish your DCID. Trainees, that was a lot of information on just simply walking at ease, marching at ease. Does anybody have any questions on anything that we just went over to this point?